Righto chaps, how the devil? I mentioned on my stream earlier that I was going to make a video about this because I think it's very important and I want as many people as possible to see it. The short version is this. When we think of the term conversion therapy, we think of some sort of immoral brainwashing to stop people from thinking they're gay, basically. And the term is being used entirely incorrectly by ridiculous woke activists who don't care about harming children. That's the short version. It isn't indoctrination or trying to get people to change the sexuality or anything nefarious. It's simple counselling with a professional. And I'll let this sensible woman explain more.
Yeah, it is complicated. As simply as I can, most people understand conversion therapy is an attempt to persuade somebody out of their sexual orientation. That can be by praying for them at one end of the scale to physical assault and corrective rape at the other. So there's no evidence that it's effective in any way. There's also, however, no real evidence that it's prevalent in this country. However, I think most people are perfectly happy with the law sending a clear message that to attempt to convert someone out of their sexual orientation is just a waste of time and causes harm. So we don't have a problem. No one has a problem with that. The difficulty has arisen is this. There has been an elision of homosexuality with gender identity. And these are two substantially different things. And they mean very different things for children and adults. And that's where it starts to get really messy. Because for 4 years, the government were quite happily going along with, we will bring in this bill, we will outlaw it in time for our wonderful, shiny conference in the summer. But things began to happen to derail this. The most important thing, I think, in January of this year, the Equality and Human Rights Commission, which was the body set up by statute to promote and protect the rights in the Equality Act. So it's a really authoritative body. They wrote a response to the government's consultation going, well, hang on a minute, you haven't defined the two key terms of your proposed legislation. What do you mean by transgender? And what do you mean by talking conversion therapy? So those are without definition. And the problem we know for children is this. The vast majority, I think studies say between 60 to 90% of children who are gender variant, who express unhappiness with their sexed bodies, if they're left to go through puberty, they will desist. And they will be happy, often as happy gay children.
Exactly.
Boom, is all I've got to say to that. Boom. Vindication. Complete vindication for me, doubtless you, Pawsey Parker, Megan Murphy, every single person that has ever said what isn't even controversial and yet it got me banned, might have got you banned. They're not even remotely controversial. Let's be very, very careful before we do experiments on children. Anybody who said that was slammed. And that statistic, between 60 and 90% of trans children, if left to their own devices, will grow up to be happy, well-adjusted, homosexual or lesbian men or women. That single statistic is complete vindication for every single person that said we aren't helping children when we allow them to make these decisions. We are not helping them. As usual, because the woke lie constantly and make everything about safety. Ooh, you're doing harm. Disagreement is violence. Silence is violence. Ooh, safety. Everything's a safety issue. Bullshit, Mr. Handman. Bullshit. The people urging caution, restraint, common sense, and a careful step-by-step approach to these new things and these new technologies and these new drugs and these new treatment options. The people that were advocating a slow and steady, a risk-averse approach to the trans debate have been completely vindicated, because 60 to 90%, even on the low end, 60% of children that have gone through a hard conversion, either with surgical assistance or by taking puberty blockers, if 60% of them would have grew up to be happy, well-adjusted gay people, well, congratulations. You have just wrecked the futures, nay, the very lives of children by allowing children who are too young to drink or smoke to make difficult, complex decisions about their own bodies. Congratulations. If you thought that was a good idea, You are deeply immoral. You have ruined children's lives. And a polite way to sum it up would be you are a clueless fucking twat. Yeah? Let's listen to a bit more. I love being right in public. Let's listen to a bit more.
So that was January. Then in February, the CAS Report issued its interim report. Only interim, already 112 pages, pointing out we've got a culture. This kind of treatment is like no other. There is a culture of unquestioning affirmation. So young children would say, I feel a bit confused and unhappy, and which of us didn't when going through puberty? Then they're immediately put on a path of puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones and surgery. The consequences for their adult life are grave and serious with regard to their fertility and their adult sexual function. So after, I think, the report from the EHRC and the CAS review, no responsible government could have continued along that path. But what we've got in response are people out on the streets protesting. We've got MPs writing newspaper articles saying this is appalling. So I think it's a wider problem here, not just for these children. It's a sort of a death of an ability to look at the evidence and to deal with it in a rational way.
So this is confusing, Sarah, because in effect, when we talk about conversion therapy for gay people, that's one thing. And then we've got therapy relating to gender dysphoria, which is where therapists are able to explore why children have these feelings. But that is being bracketed and branded alongside what we all agree is a terrible thing, gay conversion therapy. But this is very different. Is that what's going on?
I think that's exactly what's going on. And as Dennis said, the focus is on the ideology, not the children.
Right.
The children just appear to be being fed into this ideological sausage machine. Yeah. If you express any confusion or distaste for your sex body, you must be another sex, another gender. And it's completely different to a sexual orientation, which is, as far as I'm aware, Dennis will correct me if I'm wrong, is fixed fairly early on, is pretty stable. I mean, obviously people can be bisexual, but it's not the same as being a young person with vulnerabilities, possibly autism, trauma in your background. There's something very wrong going on here in that vulnerable children, it's simply assumed that it must be an issue about your gender identity, and we all know what the treatment for that is: lifelong medication and possibly surgery.
There you go. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Medication and surgery. And vast majority of them would have grew up to be happy, healthy, either gay or straight, young men and women that were just going through a phase. Did you hear that? She even said autistic. We've allowed autistic children to take puberty blockers so that they don't go through puberty. It ruins your life. You are forever changed. Human beings are not fucking Lego figures. You can't just stick bits on and take them off willy-nilly. Ultimately, this has always been the woke ideology, isn't it? That postmodernism, you are what you decide you are. Up is down, left is right. Love can be hate and hate can be love. Protecting children can be allowing children to fucking butcher themselves. Oh yeah, cheers lads. It's lunacy. So I wanted everybody to see this video. I'll put the whole 20-minute conversation in the link in the description. I implore you to watch it. It's nearly 20 minutes long, but it's fascinating. And it is total vindication for every single Tavistock skeptic in the world. So put your smug hats on, ladies and gentlemen. Megan, Posey, all those people I've been following for years with regards to this issue. Get your smug hats on, ladies, because you were right and they were wrong. The government was wrong, the BBC was wrong, Channel 4 was wrong, Sky News was wrong, Twitter was wrong, YouTube was wrong, Facebook was wrong. They were hurting children and you were helping them. Give yourselves a collective pat on the back. Now I'm off to lube myself up and fling myself around my grot. It's a victory wank. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow. Cheers.